Hi, so South Africa has been in official lockdown since Friday. It is now Sunday. So for us, it has so far felt a bit like a long weekend without going anywhere. We are lucky in the sense that we are living in a nice house with a nice garden, and there's space around us to move and to breathe. I share my house with my husband, who is a conveyancer, and my two daughters. The one is 11 and the other is 14. So the one is in primary school, the other in high school. And I'm lucky in the sense that they are both peaceful children and they are readers and they know how to occupy themselves. And thank goodness for Wi-Fi. We are watching a lot of movies. They are watching a lot of YouTube videos, and then they also watch. The one today tried out a macrame hand type of craft, which she saw the tutorial on YouTube. So technology has its benefits. She also taught herself how to bake bread in the past 2 weeks based on a YouTube video. So that's cool. We've been in self-isolation for 2 weeks now, lockdown since Friday, and we've tried to not go out as much as possible. What we've been missing is definitely exercises in South Africa. One of the hardest things, I think, is that we may not go outside our homes to do exercise, or in your street. You may not do any exercise in your street or walk your dog or things like that. I think it's a way of just trying to control, give the police an easier way of deciding who is loitering or who is just taking a fat chance and who is not listening to the lockdown appeal. But it does make it quite difficult. Luckily, my younger daughter has started a gym program for us all. So we have a whole program that we go through. We do drive up and down our driveway. We do runs. And so you run 15 minutes or however long you want to. So at the moment, as I say, it feels a little bit like a long weekend, but it is more interesting than one thinks. So in South Africa, as of Sunday, there's been 1,187 cases reported, of which one person died. That was her death was announced on the first day of lockdown, and I must say it was quite a shock, I think, for myself. The lady that died was 48. I'm 47, and somehow in my head I had this thing about it's more older people dying. And then the first case in my country was someone a year older than I am. And that really, shook me a little bit. In my immediate family, we have my husband's mother is 85 and my own parents are 75, but my father's not very healthy. They are self-isolating as best as possible. My parents, my mother-in-law, I must say, is a different card. She just ignores the request of lockdown, and she takes the opportunity of going to the shops and exposing herself at 85. I read somewhere that someone from Italy wrote a story about how you will be experiencing the following weeks, how we will experience the following weeks. And one of the things the lady said was, you will find yourself talking to your elderly parents as if they are rowdy teenagers and they won't listen to you. And I think that's something I experienced today, talking to my mother-in-law and realizing she, not that she doesn't care, but she says she's 85 and people die of flu. And that's just, if it happens to her, it happens. What I don't like about that is the fact that it will then expose other people also the people who have to care for the medical people. She lives in a retirement village filled with elderly people. So, and something I don't understand also is in my immediate family, we have 8 members of our family are in some way associated with the medical profession. Some are in Australia, some are in England, some are here in South Africa. And I'm guessing that she'd be mad if someone almost irresponsibly made her own family, gave the virus to her own family. And anyway, that's a discussion for another day. I don't quite understand that whole mind process, and I probably won't ever. I'm practicing on getting used to the whole feeling of loss of how things are in my country, and how I live and how I experience things and how my family operate and things, and also personal loss. I've had to have a discussion with my children today about the fact that we probably will be losing someone and people that we love, and that is just one of those things. My country is a country of stark differences, and one of the biggest things and biggest problems in my country, in South Africa, is the vast class differences. So we have many people. So at the moment for us it feels like a holiday, but I know that in our informal settlements things are dire, and if I watch the television, people are not adhering to the lockdown, and it's difficult to adhere to a lockdown if you're in very cramped situations, if you only have a little bit of money, and if you haven't been able to go to the shops because you yourself had to work. It's difficult. But I'm fearing for what it will do, and I think that's a general fear in my country of what the virus might do when it starts spreading through a population that has severe TB and HIV problems. I think 20% of South Africans are HIV positives. That means about 7.7 million people. And that's just too much to contemplate sometimes. That's a thought that's bigger than I can contemplate. Anyway, on a positive note, one daughter, oh, there goes a car. In the whole time that I've been speaking to you, I've not seen any cars pass my house. That's just how quiet it is in my neighborhood. But as I say, in other settlements, informal settlements, other parts of other towns, it's just not the same. It's just people haven't yet, it hasn't quite yet sunk in. I've read somewhere that the first case of COVID has been diagnosed in one of the informal settlements, Khayelitsha, and anyway, I think it's going to be a grim ride for South Africa, and for many other countries. At least we share that it's not just happening to one country. Is that something to be glad about? I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Anyway, at least we're all in it together in a weird, weird, weird world.